Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel review where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So I wanted to come on here and give my synopsis on Wednesday season 2. So this is not going to be a full recap per se. This is more of my takeaways and also talking about a lot of the characters that we were introduced to this season. So if you have not watched it or finished it, this will have some spoilers. So I suggest you click off. Other than that, let's get to it.
I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way.
So, Judy and Sheriff Santiago are two of the characters that we're introduced to this season. Judy is a worker, she is an employee at the psychiatric hospital Willow Hill. And honey, quiet as a skip, she got some mental issues herself. And Sheriff Santiago, she is the new sheriff in town and she basically has the whole town on her back. Like she is trying to make sure that what happened last year does not repeat itself. She has a lot of interactions with Wednesday and the kids, just so much going on in the town this year. And she basically is just trying to keep everything under wraps and trying to make sure that things do not get out of hand. But of course, she only has so much control over all the goings on. Okay. So, Dr. Fairburn, I was kind of disappointed that we did not get a lot from Dr. Fairburn, but that's because I like Tandy Newton. But, she is like the head doctor at the psychiatric hospital, Willow Hill, right? And, she and Wednesday end up connecting because they are trying to, something's going on with Tyler or whatever. So Wednesday goes to the hospital. She sees Tyler, and they get to see Tyler transform into the Hyde, right? Because he does not see it for Wednesday, and we know Wednesday does not see it for him, or so she tells herself. But this particular hospital, it turns out that even though, Dr. Fairburn, she knows her thing about mental health and this and that and the third, they are also doing some stuff in that hospital that is very questionable. And I think Wednesday antennas went up once she went there. And honey, when I tell you, it turned out to be a whole mess. Indeed, it was. Okay. So we get a little bit of Uncle Fester. He infiltrates himself into Willow Hill, okay, and becomes a mental patient. I'm like, that's not hard to do because looking at you, boo, we know you're crazy. But anyway, he ends up going into Willow Hill, and we also see Christina Ritchie's character. She's Tyler's master, honey, so she is there to proclaim her hide, and her love for him, and this and that and the third. But while Fester is there, they do uncover that they are keeping a lot of people there. I say as hostages, but they are experimenting on a lot of people in that hospital. And some of the people that they have been had there for years and have been experimenting on, people thought that they were unalived. You know what I'm saying? Like these people no longer existed. So all these things are unfolding, and honey, Tyler, he when he sees Christina Ritchie's character, baby, when I tell you he was not here for it, he was not. And he sent her to be on a permanent vacation with the Lord. Okay. So we get a bit more into Bianca's background this season and her mom. And I have to say, it did not make sense to me. Okay, this is my opinion. It didn't make sense to me because we find out that Bianca is trying to keep her mom safe from a cult leader who Bianca called her stepdad. I think his name was Gideon. The name of the cult was Morning Song. And I'm like, y'all are sirens. Why are you all belonging to a cult when you are the lurers? You know what I'm saying? Like you lure people into doing what you want them to do. You can, so to me, it did not make sense that they were escaping from this cult or her mom is escaping from this cult. And I'm like, why is that the case when it should be maybe your mom is running from the feds or whatever because she was luring people to take money from them and things like that. So to me, that would have made more sense. But nonetheless, we see Bianca, playing rescue ranger for her mom, and at first her mom is staying in this hotel. All these things are coming out about the cult Morning Song. So Bianca hides her mom at the school in the area where everything caught fire and no one kind of stays there. But Bianca does not understand or know the ties that her mom has to the new principal at the school. Okay. So, honey, we are introduced to Principal Dort, and I have to say, I did like him. Okay. He was one of those characters who was just up to no good, right? And he also has ties to the cult Morning Song because he is the one who initially started the whole cult. So again, that ties Bianca and her mom to him. But baby, when I tell you he uses everything, every trick in the book, this is the type of person that he is. And I also like his gift because he had the gift of fire. And honey, when I tell you he did not hesitate to use his gift of fire, he used it at any chance he got. And this is him setting the guy Gideon on fire, who was the cult leader, aka Bianca's stepdad. And baby, the look on Bianca's face when he lit that man ablaze, honey, was priceless. Okay. Because I think she had no clue as to who she was dealing with because, of course, Principal Dort had Bianca doing his bidding, where she was getting close to Morticia because he wanted a certain amount of money donated to the school, from Morticia's mom. It was just a lot of stuff that he had his hands in, but he got called out, honey, and he got called out and he told on himself, and he was just up and stuck from that point. But I really did like his character. It was definitely necessary and completely different from Larissa's character. So Professor Orloff, I think he was like one of the original professors at Nevermore because he knew the goings on of everybody. Like he taught pretty much all the kids there. He didn't taught their parents and their grandparents. Okay, like he literally knew everybody's business just about. And when I first saw him and I heard his voice, I was like, "Oh my God, that's Christopher Lloyd. That's the guy from Back to the Future." Because he just has one of those faces and one of those voices. So it was pretty cool to see him in this role. Unfortunately, we will not see him in season 3. Okay.
But remember, we are whole, just the way we are.
So Wednesday has a stalker, okay? A stalker slash stan. Like this girl is completely obsessed with Wednesday in the most ridiculous kind of way. Okay. So Agnes turns out to be Wednesday's stalker. And honey, when I tell you she is every bit of crazy, but necessary at the same time, I really liked her character. She was so freaking creepy and just so off-putting at times. It was so freaking weird. Like when she when she dyed her hair or she wore the wig, excuse me, to look exactly like Wednesday, I was like, okay, she has taken it from level 10 to level 100. Like she was that girl, but her gift was invisibility. So that is what was necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because she was able to spy on people and get a lot of information for Wednesday and get information back to Wednesday. Like she, her being the way that she is and also having the gift of invisibility is one of the reasons why Wednesday is no longer buried alive. Okay, so I cannot be mad at Agnes. Not at all.
I'm in.
Nice shape-shifting, Josephine.
Anything for Wednesday Addams.
So while Agnes was trying to butter up Wednesday, honey, Enid was not here for it at all. She was like, Wednesday's best friend slot has already been filled. We are not accepting applications and we will not be placing any in a on hold file. Like, no, absolutely not. And her and Agnes, they just didn't get along. And again, a lot of that had to do with Agnes's gift of invisibility because she used to spy on everybody, like she knew everybody's business. And again, it was very creepy. Just some of the things that Agnes did was so creepy. However, she became necessary. Like a lot of the things that she was able to do and information that she was able to give ended up benefiting both Enid and Wednesday. Well, more so Wednesday because Enid, the whole situation with her being an alpha, I don't like that. It just really irked my nerve. But needless to say, Enid, Wednesday, and Agnes, they do form some type of friendship ultimately.
I just want to say that I love us. We're like the Three Musketeers.
Careful.
So this whole thing with Enid being an alpha wolf I don't understand why this had to be her outcome. Okay, she had to wolf out in order to save Wednesday, who got buried alive by Isaac. We'll get to that. I don't like that this is her outcome. It just not makes sense to me. Why can't it be where, and I don't know much about werewolves, okay? So I don't, whatever. But why can't it be, okay, yes, she's an alpha wolf, but so to me, she should be able to just change at any time. She don't have to wait for it to be a full moon in order for her to be able to transform into a wolf. Why can't that just be what it is? Why does she have to remain a wolf? I don't like that. And I'm like, hopefully, maybe in season 3, they will introduce some type of witches that can actually, come up with some type of incantation that she can take, some type of potion, whatever, to where she can take back her human form. And then again, if she needs to turn into a wolf, she can do it, but she can also go back to her human form. Because I don't like this, now she's dealing with the whole thing of being a lone wolf because she is an alpha. And what she did, it was out of trying to help her friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, she literally saved Wednesday's life, her and Agnes. So I don't like the story of her having to remain a wolf like that. Absolutely, it does not serve any purpose for her. Okay, because she cannot be, she can't be a Nevermore anymore. I don't think. And like, oh, I don't like it at all. So hopefully in season 3, like I said, they will bring in some type of witch or what, or whomever, that can, come up with some type of brew honey that she could take to where she is able to go in and out of her transformation like she has always been able to do. To me, that would make more sense for her to be an alpha again. That would make more sense if it's like, hey, I'm an alpha, so I could change to a wolf at any time. It doesn't have to be a full moon, versus her having to remain a wolf. Like, I don't like that. Miss me with it. Okay. So this had to be one of my favorite moments of the season when Enid and Wednesday end up basically doing a Freaky Friday. Like, they literally take over each other's lives. Wednesday goes to see Lady Gaga's character. She was also a professor at Nevermore. But anyway, she is trying to get her psychic abilities back up. Okay, Wednesday is. And so she goes to this grave that belonged to Lady Gaga. And honey, while she is up there, trying to have sight on what's going on, Enid ends up interrupting her. And that was part of the deal. Like, if you are interrupted while you are going through whatever things, there's a price to pay, basically. And so her price to pay Wednesday was for her and Enid to switch lives. And baby, when I tell you, it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. So this is Enid as Wednesday. And I'm talking about, she was playing the cello and everything. Like, it was so crazy. Like, she was like, oh my God, I don't feel anything. Like, when Wednesday got in her body and she got in Wednesday's body, she's like, oh my God, I don't feel anything. Like it's just nothing there. Like, there's no feeling, there's no heart, there's no soul in Wednesday's body. Meanwhile, honey, Wednesday, oh my God, when I tell you, Enid did not know what to do with herself, but she figured it out. She did. Okay. So Enid ends up putting on some color and some makeup and everything. And the people at the school was like, Wednesday Adams has finally lost her mind. Like, oh my gosh, honey, she was dancing and bopping around, hugging people, just smiling and everything. And Enid learned the hard way why Wednesday does not wear colors. And I thought, excuse me, again, the writers of this show, like, Wednesday is allergic to colors. Like, that right there was just freaking brilliant. Now we understand and know why she's always in black and grays and just basic, those basic colors, because she is allergic to color. Honey, when I tell you, I was cracking up. I was cracking up. This was so funny to me. And this is Wednesday, honey, broken all out because Enid then put some colors on, and Enid had to learn that day, okay, no more colors. But ultimately, we do get to see them both get switched back. They had to reveal a secret that they were keeping about themselves in order for them to be able to transition back into each other's rightful bodies. And at the time, what blew me away at first was I was surprised that Morticia did not catch on that that was not her daughter. Even when she told her in the bathroom, she's like, "You just seem so much lighter. You just seem different." Because Morticia had to give her some cream or whatever for the first breakout that Wednesday's body had, because in it went and got her one of those drinks with all this color or whatever. And that surprised me that Morticia did not pick up immediately that that was not her daughter. So that definitely surprised me. But again, like I said, they ended up going back into their own prospective bodies. But this episode by far was one of my favorites because that was just so funny. Miss Capri. So Miss Capri is the music teacher at Nevermore. And for me, it's still a lot about her that we do not know. Like, she gave a couple of details about the things that she experienced and some of the things that she went through, but it's just a lot about her that we still are unaware of. And she also is the one who told Enid that she was an alpha, because Enid ended up wolfing out where there was not a full moon. And she also is trying to, I don't want to say she's trying to be Tyler's new master, but ultimately that's probably what's going to end up happening. And she explains to Tyler that her dad was a Hyde because Miss Capri is a wolf herself. So I'm like, is she half werewolf and half Hyde? Like, what is really going on with her? But to me, for me, my personal opinion, there still was not enough character development for us to kind of know exactly what is going on with her. We didn't get a lot of her this season, so I wonder how that is going to come to play in season 3. So, honey, Pugsley gets him a new friend, Eugene. Pugsley actually gets double for his trouble this season, honey, because when I tell you, first of all, Pugsley has a very unique gift as well, the electricity. And honey, when I tell you he was around here waking the walking dead, he indeed did just that. Okay.
What is that? The coolest thing ever?
So, honey, this is the zombie that Pugsley has brought back to life. Okay. Zombie, aka Slurp. Okay. Shout out to The Walking Dead. But, baby, when I tell you this zombie, aka Slurp, was running amok all through the town, baby, he was eating any brain that he could get his hands on because every time he would eat a different brain, he would start to turn. So instead of him detransitioning, he was retransitioning into an actual human. Okay. And here we have Isaac. So we got a zombie, Slurp, now Isaac. Okay, so Isaac, aka Slurp, has literally redeveloped into a whole human being. Okay. And what I like about him is we got a lot of background on how he came to be, how he's tied into Gomez and Morticia. He's also Tyler's uncle. He is, his sister was one of the patients, or as I like to say, hostages of the psychiatric hospital. Like, we learned so much about him. Sidebar, y'all. I'm not here for remakes. Like, I could take them or leave them. But if they ever did an Edward Scissorhands remake, he would be perfect for Edward Scissorhands. But anyway, I really liked Isaac, aka Slurp, honey. And the biggest gag of all is that he is the progenitor of Thing. Okay. One thing about a Tim Burton production, baby, is the stitching. Okay. You are going to know Tim Burton had his hands all up and through here with stitches alone. Listen to me. When I tell you the way that they tied Isaac, aka Slurp storyline, it was brilliant. Oh my gosh, like, we learned that Morticia cut off his hand. It was just a lot, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm going to watch this season again because I really enjoyed it, especially the last 4 episodes. But to know that Thing originated from Isaac, it was just chef's kiss the way that they tied his story together. Like, it was so freaking cool. Okay. And here we have Tyler and his mom, Francois. Again, the way that they develop these characters and tied their stories together. So Francois was one of the patients that was in the psychiatric hospital, Willow Hill. She, everybody thought that she was unalive. Nobody knew that she was still alive. You know what I'm saying? Even when Morticia saw her for the first time, Morticia was like, Gomez and I sent flowers to your funeral. And she was like, I was at the hospital. That's where I've been all these years. And she is Tyler's mom. And of course, she is a Hyde as well. And honey, when I tell you she did not play the radio about her son, it was just a lot. And again, Francois is Isaac's sister. So Isaac is her younger brother, and his whole scenario, Isaac, all his power is in his hand. Like once he attached thing back to his body, it's like his hands could do anything. Like that's what his gift was. Like he could literally do anything. But his main the thing that he wanted to do the most was to heal his sister, because apparently when Hydes get a certain age they start to get sick, because we got to see her, she was had this cough where she was coughing up blood and things like that, and clearly they were holding her in a hospital just to run, like I said, they're using them as test dummies. Like that's pretty much what they were doing. But again, Isaac, his main thing was to heal his sister so she could be human and just live the rest of her life out. And instead of whatever happens to Hydes once they reach a certain age. But honey, Tyler, he wasn't here. He wasn't here for it, because ultimately, what his mom wanted to do, because she felt like it was too late for her, she wanted her brother to take the gift out of Tyler, and Tyler was not here for it at all. And this is just Tyler and his mom when they both, change into the Hydes. Listen, the way these eyes be bugged out, I'm telling you, you don't know if they trying to scare you or if they scared of something. Okay.
We had a deal.
Unfortunately, Francois will not be in season 3, which I do not particularly like, because I wanted her to be around a little longer, especially that way Tyler won't be by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally just found out that his mom was alive and now she's not anymore. And it was to her own undoing, okay? But I like the fact that we got to meet people that Morticia and Gomez went to school with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that Isaac, her brother, was an antagonist, and he literally tried to take the life out of Pugsley and Wednesday, you know, but they, to me, were kind of necessary just for more information on the things that Gomez and Morticia were involved in at their time in Evermore, when they were young. And sidebar, y'all, I did not realize that this was the mom from The Conjuring 2. Like, until I looked it up, because she looks so different. She looks completely different. I knew she kind of looked like Barbara Hershey, and I was like, I know that's not Barbara Hershey, because she always reminded me of Barbara Hershey. But yeah, this is the mom from The Conjuring 2. Um, Spoiler, but not spoiler. She does appear in The Conjuring Last Rites, just so you know. I'm not going to say where and when, but she does. Okay, but anyway, I am kind of disappointed that she is not going to be in season 3, because I did like her character. I think she was necessary for Tyler, for him to just have that family. So I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised that we got a lot more of Gomez and Morticia this season. Like, I was so here for it, especially Morticia, but I really like Gomez as well. And, he and Pugsley, we do find out that Gomez did have the same gift that Pugsley has with the electricity. We do find that out this season as well. Um, but Pugsley, he is feeling away, honey, because Slurp, aka Isaac, is running amok in town. Okay, and it was so crazy because Gomez was sitting up here telling Pugsley, he was like, I can help you find your friend. I'll help you find him or whatever. And I'm like, dude, why you want to help him find Slurp when Slurp tried to slurp you up in the shower? Okay. Like, Gomez, why are you volunteering to help your son find this doggone zombie that then tried to eat your brain? Like, this shower scene took me out, because Gomez had no clue that Slurp was lurking. Okay, he had no idea that he was about to be on this man's dinner plate. Like, for real, for real. Crazy. Okay.
What has your braid in the twist, my little Tempest?
But I guess it didn't matter in the end, honey, because Slurp tried to make a meal out of you just like you made a meal out of this rat on this piece of toast and jam. When I tell y'all that just, oh my God, it made my flesh crawl. I do not like mice. Oh my God, it was so disgusting. And I forgot that's how the Adams eat. You know, they eat all this crazy stuff. We got to see them eat that roadkill surprise. Well, serve the roadkill surprise, honey. And in it, this is at the time when Enid was in Wednesday's body, and the look on her face was priceless. Okay. So I was so happy to see Larissa. I was like, when is she coming on? Because she wasn't in the first 4 episodes. So we had to wait till September 3rd for Larissa to pop up. And I was happy. Okay, shout out to Game of Thrones. But listen, I hope that we get to see her again because she appears to be Wednesday's spiritual advisor, right? So I hope we get to see Larissa in season 3. And I also liked the interactions that we had between her and Morticia Adams. Again, we get to get a little background about how Morticia and Gomez were when they were Wednesday's age and, their time at Nevermore. So I really liked the fact and how they incorporated Larissa in this season.
What is it, Mother?
I sense another presence here. So strange. It's the same feeling I used to have when Larissa Weems walked into the room.
Is it the
Now, I ain't gonna hold you. The banter between the two of them, Larissa and Morticia, was a little, fake friend, like, girl, whatever, I'll tolerate you, but, it is what it is. But I really, really liked it. And just to see how, Wednesday, when she was seeing Larissa at first, and Morticia was like, who are you talking to? It's just like nothing, nobody, whatever. Because at one point, Larissa could only be seen by Wednesday. But ultimately, Morticia, she was able to figure it out. Like, not on my watch. We also find out that Morticia has like a side hustle, honey. She is a romance novelist, okay? She writes romance novels. And I was like, okay, so we kind of get a feel of where Wednesday gets her writing chops from. Morticia, who knew? Okay.
Show yourself. I demand it. You're still as insufferably bossy as you were at 10th grade.
Larissa.
So we get introduced to Grandmama this season. She is Morticia Adams' mother, aka Wednesday and Pugsley grandma, okay? And we also see that Morticia and her mother, they don't necessarily have the best interactions with each other. There are some underlying issues between the two of them, and I'm wondering if they're going to come to surface. And I'm also wondering if it has anything to do with Morticia's sister, Ophelia. And speaking of underlying issues, I really did not like how they had Wednesday and Morticia kind of going back and forth with each other. Like, a lot of their interactions this season was kind of cantankerous, and I really didn't like it. And I get it. This is new, a new Wednesday / Adams family, but Morticia always loved her kids. Like, the only person that we saw Wednesday, not care for was Pugsley. Like, that is a known thing. Like, she couldn't stand her little brother. Like, even in this season, she was like, let me sacrifice Pugsley, when she had the premonition that one of the Adams were going to, be unalive. So I didn't really care for the way that they had Wednesday have like this disdain for her mom. And I get it. She was in her feelings about her mom taking, her Aunt Ophelia's diary journal or whatever away from her. But Morticia basically she's trying to protect Wednesday from whatever it is that her sister experienced. And we do hear Morticia go into a bit of a story about what happened to her sister, about her crying black tears and, because her sister is a seer as well. She has psychic ability. So it's clearly some things that Morticia was trying to keep Wednesday away from, because we already know how Wednesday is. When she got a mindset on something, she gonna do it. She don't care who don't like it. It is what it is. But I really, it was just a lot about that I really didn't care for, to see her Wednesday and Morticia not necessarily have the best relationship throughout the season, even though it ended well, because she ends up giving Wednesday the her sister's journal or whatever back. But I really I didn't like that at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't ever recall Morticia not seeing it for her kids. And again, I'm basing it off the original Addams Family movies and then, the old television show. So that just kind of blew me away. But it is a trickle down effect because Morticia has issues with her mom, and then we got to see Wednesday have issues with Morticia.
I know you're here, Larissa.
And honey, Larissa was also able to see that Morticia's mom, grandmama, was trying to persuade Wednesday to the point of where it was going to affect Morticia's and Wednesday's relationship even more. Larissa was like, hey, you need to step in before things get any worse between you and your daughter because I see what your mom is doing. She brought that to Morticia's attention. And again, I'm hoping that we get to see all of this unfold in season 3 between Morticia and her mom and why they have this disdain for one another. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering if we're going to also learn about Morticia's dad in season 3. And, if that has to do with the reason she and her mom don't really see it for each other, or if it's going to be solely based on the situation that is going on with Morticia's sister, Ophelia.
You're more like your mother than you think. I'm talking about your pathological predilection for secrets. Larissa, that's completely unfair.
So at one point, Morticia, Grandmama, and Wednesday, they all had to, channel each other's energy in order to be able to have Wednesday have sight on certain things that were going on. And so they sitting at the table and Morticia was like, this actually requires physical touch. And the way that her mom and Wednesday put their hand in Morticia's hand, I was like, y'all are ridiculous. Like, oh my God. And again, we could just say that this is the way that the Addams show love to each other, but we see how Morticia and Gomez love on each other in a loving way. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was crazy. But again, I can't wait to see all the information we're going to get, even in reference to Grandmama in season 3. Maybe we'll get a little bit of more development and more story about her background and where she came from and, things like that. So Wednesday has survived another year at Nevermore, honey. I mean, she saved a brother, she saved a family. Unfortunately, she cannot say the same about Enid, right? And we do see her at the end. She telling folks, I'm not coming home for the summer. I'm about to roll out. We see Uncle Fester pull up and they are hitting the road. Okay. So Wednesday, she is looking for Enid. She wants to make sure that she keeps her word and make sure that her friend knows that she is not going to be alone. And I am wondering how this is going to play into season 3, because what y'all not going to do, even though I like Agnes, y'all are not going to replace Enid with Agnes, like, because y'all want to keep Enid in wolf form. Like, absolutely not. That's what y'all not going to do. And so when she does find Enid, what is going to happen? Like, again, hopefully season 3, y'all going to bring in some witches who can whip up some brew and turn our girl back to herself, because that's what needs to happen. Like, for real, for real. So Wednesday, she gets the journal / diary or whatever back from her aunt Ophelia. And while she's flipping through the pages, she ends up having a premonition and she sees her aunt. So, honey, we finally get a glimpse of Ophelia, okay? And turns out she has been living in Grandmama's estate this whole time. I'm wondering if Morticia and or Wednesday are aware that this is where Ophelia has been. And why is Ophelia saying Wednesday must die? Like, what is going on with that? Also, I'm wondering if Ophelia is older or younger than Morticia, because we see that she has this platinum blonde looking hair. And I'm wondering if she is anything like Grandmama or even Morticia or Wednesday for that matter. If Ophelia, if maybe, she's different from them, that she doesn't like being off-putting. Maybe she's normal. And that is why Grandmama she doesn't really take too kindly to Gomez. Like, she really doesn't care for him, because to her, he's just like, he has too much normalcy about him, I guess, because he no longer has his abilities. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, outside of Ophelia being psychic, if she is not like a regular Adams. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also wondering if we will get an introduction to some of Gomez's family. Like, will they bring some of them on season 3, as well as Cousin It? Are we gonna get a glimpse of Cousin It? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna get a glimpse of Cousin It in season 3? But yeah, I am curious if Morticia is aware that Ophelia has been with her mom this whole time, and if that is the rift between Morticia and her mom, because like I said, there clearly are some issues going on there. And I just cannot wait to see how it is going to be incorporated in season 3, the whole scenario with her aunt. Again, I want to know if Isaac is coming back. I mean, he was risen before. Can he rise again? I mean, maybe someone will find his heart and be able to resurrect him. I don't know. I am also curious as to how things are going to turn out with Tyler and Miss Capri. Are we going to get more development in Miss Capri's background with her character, just to kind of see exactly what she is going to be able to bring to, with her wanting to help Tyler and ultimately probably become his master. So I am curious as to how season 3 is going to go, because they definitely have a lot to go on. And the whole situation with Enid, I hope that, like I said, bring on some witches with some brew, baby, because what we're not going to do is leave Enid out in the woods alone. Okay. But we shall see. We shall see. Well, that's all I have for you guys in this video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.